Thank you for that wonderful introduction. But there is a small correction, I'm sorry. I'm not the first rhythmic gymnast, but I am one of the top gymnasts in the country today. And thank you. And I was the only rhythmic gymnast to represent India at the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Um, First of all, I would like to say thank you for having me on such a big platform. And it's a real honor to be among such distinguished members of our community. I really don't have any words to express because me being at such a young age, I am getting to share the platform with such amazing people who have achieved so much. Um, I would like to give you a little brief about rhythmic gymnastics because that is not a sport that most of you have heard of. This is one of the only two Olympic sports that's an all-women sport. The competitions that are conducted and the players who play are only women. So this is a really special sport, and it is something that people don't really get into, especially in India. In India, it is not really well known. It is not promoted as much as other sports. But my goal, but when I first saw the sport and when I fell in love with it just called to me, and that was something, that was a feeling that I wanted to share with everyone around India. Um, the first time I began rhythmic gymnastics at the age of 11, which is usually considered pretty old for gymnastics. So when I first started, I was told by my coach that I'm too old for this sport and that I will not be able to achieve anything. And when I first began, it was mostly for fitness and strength and conditioning and to keep my flexibility, to stay healthy basically. But in 2010, I got the opportunity to see the Commonwealth Games in Delhi live, and at that time, I saw rhythmic gymnastics. That day, I saw how proud each athlete was to represent their country, to represent something that was greater than themselves. They were out there on the carpet representing a whole nation of people. And that was something you could see in their face, in their eyes, through the way that they were expressing themselves. And me, at 11 years, I was 11 years at that time, but still something called to me, something really attracted me to this sport, and it just stuck with me. And that was the moment when I fell in love with this sport, when I realized what my passion was, and when I realized that, that was something that I wanted to do in my life. I wanted to represent my country. I wanted to be as proud as those athletes were to be doing something great for your nation. So far, I started this back in 2010, and ever since that day, I haven't looked back. There have been many challenges along the path, but that didn't stop me from achieving what I wanted to achieve. I finally got the chance to represent India at the Commonwealth Games in 2018, and I was the only Indian representing India in rhythmic gymnastics. So that was one of the best moments in my life. I wouldn't say that is my final goal because until now, India has never won a medal in this sport. This sport is completely unknown. Nobody knows about it, and there are not many athletes in this sport. Even in the international circuit, India is looked as a country that is not really a competitor for them. And that is something that I would really want to change. I want to be the first Indian rhythmic gymnast to win a medal at an international stage so that the other countries as well will see India as a competitor. They will not look at our players and be like, okay, they are just from India who are here to participate, just participate and then get the experience and go back. No, that is not how it should be. They should consider India to be their competitor, and they should look at us as strong contenders for medals at international events as well. And that is my goal, and hopefully I would be able to achieve that in 2020 at the 2022 Commonwealth Games, for which I am training for which I am working. So having such big dreams and having such thoughts where I want to go towards is obviously never easy. And up until now also there have been a lot of difficulties, considering that first of all, it's an all-women sport, and second, it's not a very popular sport. So it has not really been supported as much as, say, cricket or badminton. And that had been quite some... Oh, okay. I think I've got another 5 minutes. So that had been a really big problem. I had never had the proper facilities to train at. I didn't have high-level coaches with whom I could train. Even now, I'm back in Hyderabad, but I train by myself, and I train wherever I can find space. So there have been difficulties, but through these difficulties, I got through these difficulties. I am still fighting through these difficulties. But there are a lot of things that I have learned from them. I've learned to overcome them, and I've learned that, giving up is never an option. No matter how hard it gets or how painful it is for you, giving up is something that you will regret all your life. And this happened to me before the 2018 Commonwealth Games. I was in Greece for almost 6-7 months training, and I was there by myself. I was away from home and family, and the loneliness kind of hit me out of nowhere. And I was just 17 years at that time. I did not really know how to handle it. So at that time, the easiest option was to give up, was to stop my training and to come back, and then, and just, continue life as any regular teenager. But at that point of time, I had the support of my parents. I had the support of them right from the beginning. With their support and with knowing that, they are there behind me, it motivated me to continue, to at least push through till the Commonwealth Games, because that had been my dream since I started. And let me say, I do not regret not giving up. That was one of the best decisions, and the best thing that I could do for myself was to push forward, because I know now that if I would have given up at that point of time, I would have really regretted it, and I would have really been upset with what I thought I could do. Another thing that I learned was, do not believe when people say that you are... Okay, I've got 2 more minutes. The second thing that I learned was, you should not believe when people say that you're not good enough for something. Because when I started, I was 11 years, and my coach at that time said I would not be able to even make it till the state level. Making it to a state level in this competition would be the greatest achievement for me. But I did not let that bring me down. I took that as the motivation I needed. That was the thing that pushed me to achieve what I want. So just because someone says that, you're not good enough for it, you should not believe them, because you are the only one who knows what you are worth. You're the only one who knows your capabilities and how much hard work you put into it to achieve that. So never listen when people say that you're not good enough for something, or you should give up fighting for something that you love.